so you fail an exam. But that's not a problem. You just have to study harder for the next one, right? But somehow the results don't seem to get any better. And seeing people on social media showing their transformation from having bad grades to becoming a straight A student, you start asking yourself, how did they do it? Did it just click? Getting good grades can be quite hard, and let me tell you that studying for hours on end is not the key to it. The key to it is actually finding the right techniques. And today I want to present to you my techniques that I use when I study. And if you don't know who I am, I'm in grade 11 and I'm doing maths and English for my A levels. So my way of studying can be divided into 3 simple steps, and step number 1 is how I take my notes. My first study hack actually starts in class, and it has to do with how you take your notes. Now, I don't want to focus on the different note-taking systems there are, because I personally don't have one. I also don't need it. And that's because my main focus when taking notes is not only just writing down the most important things, but rather everything the teacher says. Now, hear me out. It does sound like a ton of work, but for me it's a lot easier to remember not only what happened in the lesson so that I have a context to the materials that we learned, but also to learn the definitions and also answers to certain questions that were asked during the lesson. The first and most important step of becoming a grade A student is literally paying attention in class. And once I start doing it, it's actually not that hard, especially if you use the note-taking system that I use, because you're kind of forced to listen to what the teacher says and you don't really have time for any distractions, because I used to get distracted a lot. I used to doodle on my pages and then I would get lost and I wouldn't know what the teacher was talking about. So I started using this method and it helped me a lot. As a visual learner, my favorite way of revising is using flashcards. They are a great way to divide your topic into different subtopics, and with that you break down all of the information and it's very easier to learn all of your notes that way. The way I use flashcards is really great for memorizing all of my notes quickly. However, there are a lot of even more effective ways to use flashcards, and I have linked down below a video that explains a way of doing that. And I sometimes think it's really good. You look for ways to expand your methods that you already use. Number 3 is using study apps like KnowUnity, Quizlet and SimpleMind, which I am gonna show you right now. Starting off with KnowUnity, it's a platform where people can upload their notes and also format tests, and you can use them to either complete your notes or compare them, or just use them to have a written summary of topics. And I don't think that this app is ready for English speakers. However, for my German peeps out here, it's a really great way to gather information about a certain topic from other students. I did end up finding a English website that's called DocCity that is pretty much the same, and it's made for English speakers, and also I think it's available in some other languages. I haven't actively used it yet, but it looks really promising, so I hope I could help you with this one. The next app is called Quizlet, and a lot of you probably have already heard of it, but it's basically an app where you can create your flashcards with the term on one and the definition on the other side. And there are a few different ways how you can study with those flashcards. I personally really like to use the classic way and also the quiz way. And one thing that I don't like about this app is that you only have a limited amount of times you can, for example, take a practice test. That's really sad, but overall this app is really great to use digital flashcards. The next app is a app called Simple Mind, and this app is there to create mind maps, and you have various like layouts with colors. You can do black and white and everything you can imagine. I personally wasn't a fan of mind maps until I went digitally, because before it was just very cluttered and unorganized, but with this app it's just very clear, you can read everything, and I really like to just put the main topic there and kind of brainstorm or just summarize everything. And mind maps in general are a really great way to study. After you've memorized all of your notes, it's also important to learn how they're connected to each other, because in a lot of tests the teachers will ask you how event A led to event B. Of course, you can name all of the facts, but in order to really understand the subjects, you have to be able to explain the whole timeline. For example, in history, when you have to explain how Germany went from one country to 2 countries and then back to 1 country. And you can't just name all of the events that took place during that time frame. You also have to explain how they were connected with each other. And a great way of practicing that is my next method. One way to do it is the blurting method, where you revise for 30 minutes and then take out a blank sheet of paper and write down everything you can remember. Everything you missed or you couldn't remember, you just then correct with a different colored pencil. However, what I like to add is thinking about what questions teacher could ask in the exam and then try to answer them. And a third option that I also really love to use is just looking at past mistakes in my exams. I often do this in maths, history, but also in, for example, German and pretty much every other subject. And to give you a time frame of how I use those methods, I usually take 4 days to study for a test, where day 1 is for summarizing my notes, day 2 for revising them. Then on day 3 I do quizzes on the websites that I showed you. And on day 4 I take 1 to 2 practice tests to be fully prepared for the exam the next day. If you have any questions, just drop them down below in the comments and I'm really happy to answer them. So I do know it can be hard to find the right techniques, but I do hope that this video helped you a bit. And these techniques make studying easier, but they don't make studying more fun. So I will do a video about how to make studying fun as well. And for now, that's gonna be it for today. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment and subscribe. Maybe you can comment down a method that you actually use. And in the end screen there's a video of me studying over the weekend, because that's also a study hack that I use, of using my weekend to be the most productive. And yeah, you can watch that if you want. And I hope you have a nice day and a really good week. And yeah, see you next Monday.